So you go from one doctor to another, or you go to the hospital, and your history is not followed. So we have the technology, we have a unique identifier as a human being or as a Canadian citizen. It's mind-boggling to me that we don't have a common platform for our medical teams to go back and see one place where all the information is.
Actual software
Correct.
Like what you're saying.
So from the social media aspect, from all the platforms, the software, but all the practices, whether it's the chiropractor or any other doctor, right? All those disciplines.
Actually, this new technology that's coming out, it's called cloud computing.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while to catch on, but there are different programs out there that if the doctors link into this, it's like a central database for the individual patient. And it'll take a few years to catch on. Exactly.
Yeah, the technology is there.
Yeah.
It's a matter of the adaptation of the general population to catch up with a lot of it and understanding it.
It's also for the, if you think of the larger institutions, so for example, I'll pick one. So I want to say Sick Kids, but I may be mistaken. They have a platform, they have a system that all their doctors could see what's going on with each of their patients. But then you go to your family doctor, and they still have their files this thick and all these rows and all your data is in there. And for them, they're not necessarily comfortable in going from the paper to the technology. So there's a big shift there, because the technology is there, the ability is there, is the willing there. You know, what's the cost of getting it done? Because the reality is it's absolutely for the better of our healthcare system and for our health, right? So you wouldn't have doctors prescribing things that are counter, that are not acceptable based on what you're already taking or doing.
Well, and the other thing is you have doctors that retire, that their files just go into archives, and it's gone, like it's in some storage unit somewhere, and it's, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, those are all wonderful thoughts. But we do have an organization that's exactly researching that. It's called eHealth. That's their mandate.
Sure.
And although it sounds simple, these are non-trivial things. They will take years to sort out. Cloud computing sounds great, but on the other hand, thank you very much. I don't want my medical records stored in the U.S. so the Patriot Act can look to see that Joanne has AIDS. And that could conceivably happen if you put your records up in the cloud, you don't know where those servers are located, and all of a sudden you've got the U.S. swooping in. So you have governance issues, you have government issues, you've got trans-border issues. And Canada is very sensitive about those kinds of things in terms of who knows what about what you have in terms of I'm an AIDS patient, I'm not. And I use AIDS because everyone is so, I don't want to work with somebody with AIDS. It's a very different scene in the U.S. So you take a look at these technologies, and yes, the technologies are going like this, but you need government, you need processes, and you need to understand what that means to you. So frankly, I don't want my medical record in the cloud, thank you very much, because it's none of anybody's business, and I'm afraid a hacker will get in there, and by the way, they will. Of course they will. And again, I will reiterate, if you do not know where the data is being stored in the cloud, your server could be in India, it could be in Africa, it could be in Italy, it could be in the U.S., and those laws of that country take hold of what can be shared. Right? So the fact that maybe my credit card information is in one of these countries, I couldn't care less. So they know that I'm a good credit risk or not. But they're not having my medical record right now.
Well, Canada is a leader when it comes to privacy and information online.
So I guess what
We're
I'm saying is these are all wonderful thoughts, but there is tremendous work and understanding and legislation and the coming of countries to agree on how this will happen. So, I mean, and, yeah, so, I mean, I'm just telling you that as a technology professional, it's not simple.
No.
It's complex. It's extremely complicated. If you don't think it was complicated when it was just Canada, it's 10 times more complicated today in the world is flat scenario, where you've got people all over the world. I will tell you now, hydro at one point was going to have their